he gets in the taxi, I think in Manhattan, and the taxi driver starts selling him. He's like, dude, check out this new payment processor I got. It's small. He's selling it wrong. Like, he doesn't really know the fees. He gets it all wrong. But Jim's sitting in the back of the cab and he's like, oh my God. Like, if this is someone that we're not paying at all and he's selling me on this product, it's game over.
Can we talk about advertising? This is something.
Yeah. Okay.
Every single book we read is a different story. Okay. You've got Seth Godin, never advertise. You don't need to, create for your smallest viable audience. You've got Peter Thiel, who's like, use math and advertise so long as it's profitable. And everybody else in between and going other ways. I saw a lot of Dunbar's platform in the way he used customers to be his sales force. So they never advertised Square, and they were growing at 10% a week forever.
Insane.
And they were doubling, I think, every month or something, which is crazy. But he just believed, I think what he said about trust is really good. It's like you get one shot at trust, and a side effect of trust is love. And you need your customers to trust and love you so that they tell a friend about you. And yeah, so what's up?
Well, do you remember the part where he knew
Probably not.
that they were onto something? I think this was in the James Altucher.
Yeah.
In the taxi.
Go ahead.
He gets in the taxi, I think in Manhattan, and the taxi driver starts selling him. He's like, dude, check out this new payment processor I got. It's small. He's selling it wrong. Like, he doesn't really know the fees. He gets it all wrong. But Jim's sitting in the back of the cab and he's like, oh my God. Like, if this is someone that we're not paying at all and he's selling me on this product, it's game over.
Just imagine. Yeah.
Just multiply it by all the people that are using this right now.
That's network effects and that virality coefficient that we've kind of talked about. Like, is your customer willing to tell one person or two people? If so, you're viral. I think
that's
people is viral.
Where this ties into the Peter Thiel and having that 10 times better benchmark, because it was literally, there was no other option. Like, I don't know. It was just impossible to have all these easy transactions. And so that's why they're raving about it. So finding a way where, like, I think you keep testing until you have like the CD Baby where people are begging you to have it, or Square, where they're like, you have to get on this. I think
I remember
important.
So poignantly when Snapchat came out. I've told this story briefly on here, but we were all 10 of us sitting in the basement, and a friend was like, yo, you guys have got to get on Snapchat. Like, it's just this awesome thing. That was network effect right there. And his viral coefficient was 9 in that case. And I think that's why Snapchat grew. So you couldn't use the app alone. It was
and
pointless
I remember
to use
same
the app
thing.
alone.
Actually, what's interesting, okay, we're talking about marketing, advertising. They have Cash App. I was listening to another podcast, David Perell's podcast, and they were talking about Cash App and how they're like giving the cash to people. Like, I don't know exactly how it works, but there's so many different strategies to get it
As
out
a sign
there.
up.
I
think
like
PayPal started that actually. You invite a friend, they get $10, you get $10.
I don't know if it was the referral deal. I don't know. I shouldn't have brought it up, but I think there are so many different approaches. But in essence, if your customers aren't pitching your product to other customers, you have to change something,
right?
Because they're going to be your best marketing.
That's what it comes down to. But also, if you're trying to run ads and your cost of acquisition, your customer acquisition is say $80. But instead, Square will send you a reader for free, which you might value a lot more than that. Now their customer acquisition is $1 or $2 for the postage. Same thing with PayPal. It was invite someone, they get $10, you get $10. That's a $20 customer acquisition, but maybe by traditional means, it cost PayPal $150. Like, that's why these referrals have become such good bonuses to sign people up on new platforms.
That's why I think it is important to have a rough idea of how much people will be worth so that you can play with these different experiments of how to get new customers.
Yeah, you're turning it into a math problem. And as far as we know, like, math's never wrong.
Unless I do it. But all right, so I want to talk about this low cost and a different approach to profit maximization.
Wait, really quick. What was it in? he said Tycho Brahe, he's a physicist, died of a burst bladder. His bladder just,
Jim said this?
yeah, because he was waiting around in a banquet or something. It was at the end of the book. Sorry, go back. I was just thinking about that because I got to pee.
There you go. All right. Doesn't prepare for the podcast. So here's the contradiction, because I had my mind blown. I hear like Ramit Sethi type people being like, hey, sell to the top of the market. You don't want to be competing on cost. And then Jim has several examples. One is the most modern, I understand the best. It's Southwest Airlines. They come in when you think of, what is it? Not Trans. What's the Pan Am? You think of like Pan Am, this super high luxury, like the majority of the market can't fly easily back when Southwest starts. I don't know when they started, call it the 60s, whenever it was, after that probably. But so people just couldn't fathom everyday people flying. And then Southwest is like, all right, let's challenge this assumption. They come in, they create their own innovation stack, right? They figure out how to have that turnaround time be 10 minutes by loading people. Like, you don't have seats, you just kind of free for all, grab your seats. They only do direct flights. They don't have food on their flights. They
only 737, same planes, same parts, all look the same.
So they have this stack, and it's so hard to compete. It was only until very recently that other airlines could come close, and that's carried them for decades. And so you have this question of, all right, where do you want to charge? Do you want to say, for example, just to make it simple, and I think they have this, is like $10 is the current competition for like a flight, or we could say like $100. It's $100 to take a flight to Chicago from New York. Then they come in and they could get the price down to like $50 if they wanted. So should you charge 50 or do you charge 90, profit maximize, and then, just make as much as you can? Well, they choose to go for the $50 because now you have this big gap in between you and everyone else where they can't even come close. So you have the innovation stack on top of this huge price discrepancy. Like, no one can jump over that hurdle. Whereas getting the hurdle to like $89 for another company to compete with you when you're at 90, it's pretty simple. I don't know if I'm losing you with all the math here.
No, I smell something burning. And yes, it was a lot of math. I got what you were saying, but I smell something burning. I hope we're okay. What was the paradox there?
That's the smart. The idea is that you add price, like you have price. You don't want to charge like where you're not making money, like still you're a feasible business, but that's part of your moat. That's like another layer of the innovation stack, is you have this such a broad disparity in prices that, like, yeah, if you have a product and you're charging so much less than everyone else, like they can't even fathom getting down to that price. Whereas if you're just slightly undercutting them, it's easy to think how you can get there. But you're using the advantages of your innovation stack to get your price this low, and then you still want to charge that price.